The first thing Commander Elias Vance noticed about the alien prison was that it had no doors. The second thing he noticed was that every prisoner inside was staring at him. Not because he was human. Not because he was armed. And definitely not because they expected him to rescue them. They were staring because Elias Vance was standing in a place where no human being was supposed to survive. The walls around him were black. Not painted black. Not metallic black. They swallowed light. His helmet lamp reached 3 meters before disappearing into the darkness as if the corridor itself were absorbing it. Elias raised his rifle. His breathing sounded too loud inside his helmet. Rook. Status. Static. Then a voice. Still alive. Elias smiled. That's not a status. It's the only one I've got. Elias glanced behind him. Lieutenant Marcus Rook stood 10 meters away, rifle against his shoulder, helmet covered in dust from the landing. The two men were alone. Their shuttle had been destroyed. Their navigation system was dead. Their communication link was gone. And somewhere above them, an alien battle group was searching the planet for survivors. Marcus looked down the corridor. You sure this is a prison? Elias checked the strange symbols etched into the wall. According to the scanner. What does the scanner say? That we're standing inside a structure that shouldn't exist. Marcus sighed. That's comforting. Elias moved forward. They had not come here to rescue anyone. That was the important part. 3 hours earlier, their mission had been simple. A human exploration vessel had disappeared near the edge of the Bear frontier. The ship had not sent a distress signal. It had not been attacked. It had simply vanished. The Bear Dominion claimed they knew nothing about it. Human Command didn't believe them. So Elias Vance and his small reconnaissance team had been sent to investigate the last known coordinates. They found the planet. Then the planet found them. The surface was covered in ruins. Not cities. Not temples. Prisons. Thousands of them. Some were buried beneath mountains. Others were carved into the surface of the planet. And one enormous structure stretched beneath the ground for hundreds of kilometers. Elias had called it a prison because that was the closest word his brain could find. But the deeper they went, the less it looked like a prison. There were no guards. No cells. No machinery for feeding prisoners. No execution chambers. Instead, there were enormous rooms filled with strange markings. Some looked like writing. Some looked like mathematical equations. Others looked like warnings. The deeper Elias went, the more often he saw the same symbol. A circle. Split down the middle. With a small human-shaped figure drawn beneath it. He stopped. Marcus nearly walked into him. What? Elias pointed. That. Marcus stared. You recognize it? No. Then keep moving. Elias didn't. He scanned the symbol, his helmet display flickered. Then suddenly translated one word. Run. Elias stared. Marcus. What? Run. The corridor exploded. Marcus was thrown backward. Elias slammed into the wall. The darkness disappeared. For several seconds, he heard nothing. Then his helmet rebooted. Elias opened his eyes. Marcus was lying on the floor. Rook. No response. Marcus. The lieutenant groaned. I'm beginning to hate this planet. Elias crawled toward him. Can you move? Probably. That's not an answer. Then no. Elias pulled Marcus upright. A section of the corridor behind them had collapsed. Their route back was gone. Marcus looked at the rubble. That's unfortunate. Elias checked his oxygen. 28 minutes. Marcus had 31. Their emergency beacon was destroyed. Their shuttle was gone. Their weapons had less than half their ammunition. And they were trapped beneath an alien planet. Marcus looked at Elias. So. Elias sighed. Don't. Was going to say something positive. You're terrible at positive. Marcus pointed down the corridor. There's light. Elias turned. Far ahead, something was glowing. Not blue. Not white. A pale golden light. They moved toward it. The corridor opened into a chamber. And Elias stopped breathing. Marcus stopped beside him. The chamber was enormous. Thousands of alien figures stood behind transparent walls. Some were tall. Some were small. Some had 4 arms. Others had wings. Some were so strange that Elias couldn't immediately understand what he was looking at. But every one of them was alive. They were prisoners. Thousands of them. Marcus slowly lowered his rifle. What the hell? Elias scanned the chamber. The computer displayed a single message. Species archive. Marcus looked at him. What does that mean? Elias walked toward the nearest enclosure. Inside was a creature with pale skin and 6 black eyes. It stared back at him. Then something happened. The creature moved closer to the glass. It raised one hand and touched the transparent barrier. Elias froze. The creature's eyes widened. It whispered something. His translator struggled. Then produced a sentence. You're human. Elias stared. The creature stepped backward. It was trembling. Marcus looked at Elias. Why is it afraid? The creature answered. Because you're the first one we've seen in 300 years. Elias felt cold. What happened 300 years ago? The creature looked toward the darkness above them. The Dominion found us. Marcus raised his weapon. The bear. The creature nodded. They came for our world. Elias glanced around. How many species are here? The creature looked around the chamber. All of them. Elias didn't understand. What? The creature stepped closer. The bear did not conquer civilizations. It looked directly at Elias. They collected them. Elias lowered his rifle. Marcus whispered. That's impossible. The creature laughed softly. No. It pointed at the walls. That is what they wanted you to believe. Elias stared at the thousands of prisoners. His military training told him to report the discovery. His instincts told him to leave. But then he noticed something. The cells weren't designed to hold the prisoners. They were designed to study them. Every species had its own section. Every section contained records. Biological data. Cultural data. Military information. Technology. Weaknesses. Strengths. Every civilization the Bear had ever encountered had been documented. The Dominion had been building a library. Not of knowledge. Of enemies. Marcus walked toward a nearby display. Elias. What? You need to see this. Elias approached. Marcus pointed at the screen. The display showed a list. Thousands of species. Most had a status beside them. Archived. Extinct. Subjugated. Deleted. Then Marcus found the last entry. Human. Status. Unresolved. Elias stared. Marcus looked at him. Unresolved. Elias shook his head. I don't know. The alien prisoner stepped closer. You weren't supposed to be here. Elias turned. Why? The alien looked terrified. Because they haven't finished studying you. Elias felt something inside his chest tighten. What does that mean? The alien pointed toward the ceiling. They knew you were coming. Marcus immediately raised his rifle. How? The alien's voice dropped. They have been watching humanity since your first jump beyond your solar system. Elias looked at Marcus. Marcus looked back. That's not possible. The alien smiled sadly. They said the same thing about us. Then the lights went out. Every enclosure sealed. Every display died. A low vibration moved through the floor. Elias raised his weapon. Marcus. I hear it. Something was approaching. Not footsteps. Machines. Thousands of them. The alien prisoners began screaming. Elias looked around. What's happening? The alien slammed its hand against the barrier. They're coming. Who? The collectors. The first machine entered the chamber. It was enormous. 4 meters tall. Black armor. 6 mechanical limbs. No face. No eyes. Only a thin red line across its head. Marcus fired. The bullets struck the machine. They did almost nothing. Elias grabbed Marcus. Move. They ran. Behind them, the machine advanced. Then another appeared. Then 5. Then 20. The chamber filled with them. Elias fired as he ran. Marcus threw a grenade. The explosion destroyed one machine. 3 more stepped through the smoke. Elias looked around desperately. There had to be a way out. There had to be something. Then he noticed the prisoners. Thousands of species. Thousands of minds. And one thought hit him. The bear had made one enormous mistake. They had studied every civilization separately. They had never studied what happened when they worked together. Elias ran toward the nearest control station. Marcus shouted. "What are you doing?" "Opening the cells." Marcus stared at him. "You're insane." "Probably, Elias, those things are everywhere." "Exactly." He reached the control panel. It wasn't designed for human hands. Elias pulled out his universal interface. Nothing. He tried again. Nothing. Marcus fired over his shoulder. "Elias." "I know. You're taking too long." "I know." "Elias." "I said I know." A machine slammed into Marcus. He flew across the chamber. Elias watched him hit the wall. "Marcus." The lieutenant didn't move. Something inside Elias changed. He grabbed the interface. Then he remembered the symbol. The circle. The split. The human figure. He entered the symbol. The system came alive. A voice spoke. "Species identification." Elias swallowed. "Human." The system paused. "Authorization level." Elias stared at the screen. He had no authorization. He was a human soldier standing inside an alien prison. So he did something that would later become one of the most important decisions in human history. He lied. "Command authority." The system paused. Then asked. "Command authority confirmed." Elias blinked. Marcus groaned behind him. Elias almost laughed. "You're kidding." The system responded. "Species human has been classified as unresolved." Elias looked at the prisoners. Then at the machines. Then at the control panel. "Override." The system waited. "Reason." Elias looked toward Marcus. Then toward the prisoners. "Because they made a mistake." The system accepted the command. Every cell opened. The chamber erupted. Thousands of prisoners rushed into the corridors. Some had weapons. Some had claws. Some had energy abilities. Others had nothing but their hands. The machines turned toward them. And suddenly the bear's perfect prison became a battlefield. Elias grabbed Marcus. "Move." Marcus looked around. "Did you just release thousands of alien prisoners?" "Yes." "Without knowing what they are capable of?" "Yes." Marcus stared at him. "You really are insane." Elias smiled. "You've said that before." They ran. The aliens followed. Not all of them. But enough. They moved through the underground complex as one enormous group. Different species. Different languages. Different technologies. But for the first time in centuries, they had one objective. Escape. Elias reached another chamber. There were weapons everywhere. Old weapons. Alien weapons. Some were thousands of years old. Others looked more advanced than anything humanity possessed. The aliens began taking them. Marcus stared. "You're giving them weapons." Elias looked around. "They're already carrying them." "Fair." A massive alien with 4 arms approached Elias. It held a weapon larger than Elias himself. "You are human." Elias nodded. The creature pointed toward the weapon. "How does this work?" Elias looked at it. "I have no idea." The creature stared. Elias pointed toward the trigger. "Try that." The creature pulled it. A beam of white energy cut through the wall. Everyone froze. Marcus slowly looked at Elias. "Nice engineering advice." Elias shrugged. "Worked." The escape continued. They fought through the complex for nearly 20 minutes. The machines kept coming. But now they were losing. Because the prisoners had something the bear never expected. They had memory. Every species remembered how the Dominion had taken them. Every species remembered the weapons used against them. Every species remembered the faces of the soldiers who had marched into their cities. And now they were fighting together. At the heart of the complex, Elias discovered the truth. The prison wasn't underground. The planet was the prison. The entire world was a machine. A massive artificial structure designed to store civilizations. The Vair had built it over centuries. They called it the Archive. Elias stood before the central control system. Marcus looked at him. Can you shut it down? Elias studied the controls. No. Marcus sighed. Of course. Elias continued. But I can make it do something else. Marcus stared. What? Elias looked at the Archive's planetary map. The entire structure was connected to a network of orbital satellites. And those satellites were connected to the Vair Dominion. Every report. Every biological profile. Every weapon specification. Every weakness. Every civilization. All of it passed through one network. Elias smiled. Marcus saw it. I don't like that smile. Good. What are you thinking? Elias pointed at the network. They collected everyone. Marcus looked at the prisoners. Yes. So let's return the collection. Marcus stared. You want to send the archive back? Not exactly. Elias began typing. I'm going to send everything. Marcus understood. To everyone. Elias nodded. Every species. Marcus stared at the screen. That would expose the Vair's entire database. Yes. Their weapons. Yes. Their defenses. Yes. Their weaknesses. Elias looked at him. Especially those. Marcus smiled. That's very human. Elias pressed the final command. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then the planet shook. Every satellite in orbit activated. Across the galaxy, signals began appearing. Millions of them. The entire Vair database was being transmitted. The information spread from system to system. Every civilization received it. Every military. Every scientist. Every government. Every surviving species. And then something happened that the Vair had never imagined. The species they had spent centuries studying began studying them. The Vair Dominion had always survived because nobody knew enough about them. Now everyone knew. Their fleets. Their bases. Their supply routes. Their command structure. Their vulnerabilities. Their secret weapons. Everything. Elias watched the transmission counter climb. Marcus stood beside him. How long? 8 minutes. Until. The galaxy knows everything. Marcus smiled. Then what? Elias looked at the prisoners. One by one, they were gathering around him. Some were wounded. Some were exhausted, some had lost entire civilizations. But they were standing. Waiting. Elias looked toward the exit. Then we go home. One alien stepped forward. You are taking us with you. Elias looked at him. If you want to come. The alien stared. Where? Elias smiled. Earth. The alien looked confused. What is Earth? Elias looked at Marcus. Marcus answered. Home. The alien considered that word. Then nodded. Then we will see it. The evacuation took 11 hours. Human ships finally arrived. Not a battle fleet. Exploration vessels. Rescue craft. Mining ships. Medical ships. Military escorts. They had received Elias's transmission. And when they arrived, they saw something humanity had never seen before. Thousands of alien survivors standing on the surface of the archive. Waiting for them. The human fleet commander contacted Elias. Commander Vance, report. Elias looked at the countless species behind him. He had no idea how many there were. Maybe 50,000. Maybe 100,000. Maybe more. He opened the channel. Sir. Are you alive? Yes. Is the archive secure? Elias looked at the enormous structure. No. The commander paused. What happened? Elias looked toward the sky. Sir, we found something. What? Elias took a breath. Everyone. Silence. The commander didn't understand. Elias continued. Sir, we found everyone. 3 days later, the first alien stepped onto Earth. It was the same six-eyed creature Elias had met inside the prison. It stood in a human field beneath the blue sky. It looked at the clouds. Then the trees. Then the sunlight. It touched the grass. And began to cry. Elias stood beside it. "You okay?" The alien nodded. "We had forgotten this." "Forgotten what?" The alien looked at the sky. "Freedom." Elias didn't know what to say. So he stood there. Sometimes that was enough. But humanity soon discovered something else. The Vair had not been the only civilization watching Earth. Other species had been observing humanity for decades. They had seen humans build colonies. They had seen humans fight wars. They had seen humans develop faster than expected. But they had never understood the pattern. Humanity did not become stronger because humans were naturally stronger than everyone else. Humanity became stronger because humans shared what they learned. A human engineer discovered a better engine. Within months, everyone knew. A human doctor discovered a treatment. It spread across human space. A human soldier found a weakness in an enemy weapon. It became military doctrine. Humanity was dangerous because knowledge did not stay locked inside one person's head. And now the archive had been opened. Every species had access to every other species. The galaxy changed. The Vair Dominion collapsed within 2 years. Not because humanity destroyed it. Humanity didn't. The species the Vair had imprisoned did. One by one, old worlds became free. Old borders disappeared. Old enemies became allies, and for the first time in recorded history, the galaxy became connected by something stronger than conquest. Information. Elias Vance eventually left the military. He became a teacher. When asked why, he always gave the same answer. "I spent too much time learning how civilizations destroy each other." Someone once asked him what he had learned. Elias smiled. That nobody does it alone. Years later, he returned to the archive. The prison had been transformed. The black walls were still there. The enormous chambers were still there. But the cells were gone. In their place were libraries, laboratories, schools, embassies. The place that had once been designed to contain civilizations had become a place where civilizations met. Elias walked through the main chamber. Thousands of beings moved around him. Children from species that had once believed they were alone in the universe were playing together. Scientists were arguing over equations. Engineers were building machines nobody had imagined before. And on the far wall was a single inscription. It had been written in hundreds of languages. Elias stopped to read the human version. It said, "No civilization survives alone." Elias smiled. Then he noticed something strange. Marcus Rook was standing behind him. Elias turned. "You're still alive." Marcus looked offended. "That's becoming your greeting." "Just checking." Marcus pointed toward the ceiling. "There's a delegation waiting for you." "From who?" Marcus smiled. "Everyone." Elias sighed. "Of course." He started walking. Marcus followed. Then Elias stopped. "What?" Marcus looked at him. "You ever think about what would have happened if we hadn't crashed here?" Elias considered the question. "No." "Why not?" "Because we did." Marcus nodded. "Fair." They continued walking. Behind them, the archive remained open. Not as a prison. Not as a weapon. Not as a monument to the Vair. But as a reminder. The galaxy had spent thousands of years believing that power belonged to whoever could control the most territory. Humanity had discovered something different. Power belonged to whoever was willing to share it. And that was why the Vair had made their greatest mistake when they captured humanity. They thought they had captured another species. They thought they had added another entry to their collection. They thought humans would become another number on a screen. They were wrong. Because humans had never been very good at staying inside boxes. And once the box was opened, humanity didn't escape alone. It brought the entire galaxy with it. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more original HFY science fiction stories where humanity faces the impossible and finds a way through. Because out there, somewhere beyond the stars, someone is always making the mistake of thinking humans are easier to understand than they really are.